So I'll do a little introduction announcement, and then we will cut back to you. And we'll make it as if you and I haven't spoken before, and I'll be like, "Hey, Marco, how's it going?" And then we can like make a super awkward introduction and get started. Then
super awesome.
All right.
Oh cool. I can't wait.
All right. Cool. All right. Welcome, everyone. Today's stream is a very special one because we have Marco Plouffe from Keos Masons with us to talk about hard surface creation. We have a lot of topics that we have prepared ahead of time in a very organic way. We'll still also try to sort of weave in there organically different questions that you all may have for those who are here live. Of course, like every other interview, this will be recorded, uploaded on outgang.studio once we are done. And I believe that's all I have to say ahead of time. So without further ado, let's introduce our very esteemed guest for today. And here we are. Marco, how you doing, my friend?
That video just popped in. Oh, hi, everyone. Let's talk about 3D and not food.
Fritz on Fire is asking, Marco, do you use subdivisions on those models, or is it just a high-res Dynamesh?
No, it's always subdivision. It's just that like I was like at the end of I was texturing in that file, so I kind of like merged all my things together into like one object. But the reality is that like you see, like I think I can even do like a reconstruct here. Yeah, you see, it's actually there you go. It did like a reconstruct to a lower subdivision here. Let's try to do another one. Reconstruct subdivision. Yeah.
Why erase the subdivisions then?
I think that was just a mistake. I think it's just I merged them and I forgot to click reconstruct subdivision. But like
Marco never
it's going to go to like
everything is exact.
Yeah. But like if I was to actually like split like this object again, like for example, I'll do it on this one here. I'll erase my subdivision level. I'll just select like this object here. Hide it, split it. No, so now I split it into its own object here, and I'll reconstruct subdivision. So you see that like I actually started from like just like one of the normal like capsule shape from Zbrush here. So like this capsule here, this is exactly what I started from to make like that piece here, and I subdivided it until I needed until I needed for like the details. So basically, like this is this shape here. This is a pretty simple shape here, but like some objects that are more like panels, I might actually like start from a blocking mesh that I'll split, that I'll do like a Z-ray mesh, and then But like other objects, like you see like this like cylinder thing here, this actually was done from a cylinder. So of course. But I prefer to work with subdivision just because like when you move it around, it can actually move like more smoothly than if it was just a Dynamesh. Plus also sometimes if you want to like really play with your shape, if it's like too high in polygon, it's just going to actually feel like that it's hard to modify the higher, the lower frequencies, like the bigger shapes. So sometimes I like to be able to like this is going to be dumb, but if I wanted to like erase those details here, like right now, even if I use smooth stronger, like, well, I mean it's doing the job, but let's say
but you're always
if I was to subdivide. You can't. It's going to be hard to really get rid of like the details and stuff. But like, whereas like if you were to actually subdivide lower, let's say like you go to 3, it like almost disappears instantly. So if you want to smooth like a shape, I find that it's like easier to manipulate it if you have lower subdivisions also. This is why I like to do that. But when I explore, I'm going to use like Dynamesh.
Let's see here. Any questions? Bento, how do you manage the number of polygons, subtools at the end of a project?
Oh, I just honestly, I just try to have like my subtools be like at maximum 8-10 millions each subtools, because higher than that, like your computer has a hard time to run. That's at least when I'm working. This is a bad example because like this is an example where I was just working on the texturing, so I kind of like merged everything together because I didn't really care about the fluidity of things. But normally, what I'll do is like to stay fluid, like for the longest time, I'll keep at like 8-10 million polygons for each subtools, and often I'll divide my character into like body, arm, leg in different like Z tools, actually. This one is all unified in one piece for the presentation, but the reality is that like the arm was actually alone also.
Run us through that process of taking that idea that you have, or an idea that you have, really sort of searching for it within here, make your block out, and then let's talk about that whole process from block out all the way to the high res, and let's talk about the whole process. Yeah.
So basically, like the first like step in like that I'm gonna go to is like trying just to find like kind of like the general shape of the character that will actually have all the basic like proportion that will serve for my purpose. So like I'll take the sphere. I'll just go into like Dynamesh, because since I'll be like I said, I like to work with subdivision, but since I'm just looking for like shapes for the moment, like I'm not really going to like try to bother too much with like technical things. I'm gonna really try to actually like get the most like get the further with the most simple like methods and that sort of stuff. So the way that I work is like sometimes I'll just try to like find like its face first, and then I'll go with the whole body. Sometimes I go like with the whole body. Let's say like we take like this character, I'll just like work on the body itself. Right now I actually am using clay buildup, which I'm going to be using for like pretty much like the entire blocking almost. Like blocking and clay buildup and smooth will probably be like the only thing I might be using. And even if I want to actually like do something that like kind of like looks art surface, like let's say like those are like pectorals, but I want it to actually like have somewhat of like a more angular shape, I'll simply go and like smooth the angles like this to kind of like give it like that like faceted look. Yeah. So you see, like not even using H polish, and of course, I mean it's not polished at all right now, right? But the intention of like having like facetized surfaces or angles or faces, I should say, that's like the intention is there, right? So for me, like this will in the end will answer to my visual language of like hard surface, plate, metal. Okay, here's a little tip. See, like there's little like tips like here and there. You know, like to give him like more of a, let's say you take the move brush and you try to do like the crown of the skull of the head like this, and you really give it like that like shape of the cranium. Like it would be easy to think that like you actually need to use the move brush to kind of like create the silhouette like this, but the reality is that like sometimes I don't even want to just change the brush, and that's why I love clay buildup. It's because if you go outside of the shape, it kind of like starts to like drag the shape like this. So like I'll just lightly do it, and you see I'm kind of like drawing the silhouette like this, and now you smooth here, and then you actually start to have like more of like the big shape that you want. Like there's two ways of smoothing in Zbrush. There's the smooth and the smooth relax, and the way to actually do smooth relax, well, the way to do smooth is simply by pressing Shift before you sculpt, right? But the way to do smooth relax is you need to click Shift. So you see my cursor is now blue. Start like click on your pad and remove your finger from Shift and move. And now you're doing relax instead of smoothing. And the big difference I find is that like you see like how I actually created this like cranium shape here, like the fact that there's like an apex here and then like there's two angles like this. I want to keep it, right? But let's say that like it's like full of like brush strokes, and you kind of like you just want to have like a cleaner surface. If you use Shift, you see you're kind of like losing your shape. It's kind of like melting when you use smooth. But if you use smooth relax, you see it's keeping the shape, and it's only like removing the smaller details. So and also you'll notice that the topology it responds better to pinches and to stars in the topology when you do a relax, because it kind of like pushes like the polygons outwards of the star shapes. So it's kind of like also a little like interesting like effect. If let's say I want to like make more of like a a cavity in my silhouette here. Something that actually Furio taught me is to use Accucurve. Accucurve, you can find in Brush Accucurve, and it kind of like just like it will pinch your shape when moving it. So like, for example, if you do it like outward without Accucurve, it would do this. With Accucurve, it would do this here. So if you actually want to move and like create some like angularities, or it actually gives instantly like a sharper fall off.
What's your favorite cookie recipe?
My favorite cookie recipe?
Yeah.
Okay, you know, like they have like this at Subway. It's like I just know the word in French.
Those
it's
fucking Subway
like,
cookies. I'm fucking addicted to those too. Yeah. Like
I know. It's like a noix de macadamian nut cookie.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Those like, oh yeah, they're super good. Plus, I mean, the Subway cookies, like it's the only thing that's good at Subway, in my opinion. Like you don't want to trash like Subway or like, I mean, you can still, I hope you're going to get sponsored by Subway. It's great. I could actually just use Damn Standard with like kind of like a big radius, just to kind of like break shapes into more shapes. Like this, you could like you can break it into like two major shapes here. That I don't like, so I'll keep it like one big continuous shape here. But like Damn Standard, you can use it with like quite a big radius. And sometimes you can like after that you can start to go into like smaller radius shape to start to kind of like get like smaller shapes here. So like here I'll kind of like do like some like abdominal like shape here just by like doing some like line flow. I'll figure out like like that's going to be like this. Then I think here I made something hard surface. But I could actually like decide to like just like melt my shape with smooth here, and like decide to divide it into like two abdominal muscle here like this. So this is like me like figuring out like what I want to do. But like after I drew them, I might actually really go with a bigger radius and try to really like give them like a cavity that will really give them like a more interesting like shape. And you see, like just by choosing the right radius, I'm kind of like already like showing that like I'm like I created like 2 planes or maybe like 3 planes for like this abdominal shape here. Sorry, it kind of like snapped weird. So you see, like I kind of like by choosing the right radius for the cavity, like I created like this kind of like shape language already for the faces. If I really want to insist on it, I could actually use Damn Standard with Alt, which will kind of like create like false corners. It kind of like just it pinches the shape, but like it kind of like reads as like a break into like 2 planes. And then you can actually just like smooth it out like this and smooth it out like this, and then you have like a semblance of like a hard edge right here. You see some like cylinder thing. This is just like a tool called trim hole. I think you have to go find it in the light box here in trim. But me, I have it underhand all the time because I like to just like add cylinders like on the fly like this. But it's just to say that like there's like a lot of like shapes and stuff that like you see. You can create like quickly, you can create like cylinders like this because it actually like it's the time right now to figure out like the big shapes and what each things are going to be, right? Defining a bit more the shapes, and this like cylindrical shape thing is pretty fast to define like a round shape. Yeah. And I'm going to want to mask the front here. Now, pro tip. You see, like if you actually like mask like this, you might get the other side, you might get like this edge here. And in order to not like get the other faces, what I do is I just add some depth mask to my mask brush. So I put it here on my UI, otherwise it would be in brush and depth here, see? But like if you click on mask and you click on depth, now you can tell him like, you know what, don't go like low, just like stay high. So it'll just mask everything that's higher than the angle that you are on. So you see how it's like kind of like not going on like this part or this part, just because I've added depth to my mask. And now in like a much faster pace, I actually masked like this front face here. For those who don't know, if you use your transpose line and you right click, this is the move transpose line, by the way. And if you right click on the extremity, it does inflate. So it's pretty cool. I really like this shortcut. And then you can just like decide of like how much you want to extrude it. And you can also like even like I don't like how it's actually like doing like a 90-degree thing here. It goes against other choices that I've made. So I might actually just like move it so it like tapers. It tapers it. You see like it's too angular here for me again. So I'm kind of like going to taper it to get like a lower angle thing here like this. So let's say like that's my shape. Let's say it's like you find it's like too sharp and you want it to round it. What you can do is just go in masking here and do blur mask, sharp mask, blur mask, sharp mask. And you see it's kind of like rounding the edges of my mask the same way that I rounded the corners here. So you see like this idea of like trying to keep the visual language exists in like all frequencies of my model, either like the big shapes or like the smaller shapes. So now I can actually like reverse and do like inflate here like this. And okay, a little pro tip. Okay, if you actually just like control click, it'll like blur the mask, but in just one direction, and look at the effects that it does.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So it kind of like it curved the way in, but it's sharp on the way out here. So I actually use this to sometimes, because you see like this one here is more like
super angular.
Like the corners here are more like flat, flat, flat. Whereas like this one here, this corner is more like round and then flat, like this. That's the difference between like this here and this here. Like mold lines, you use orb crack or dam standard. Dam standard creates like a rounder fall off into like the cavity, whereas like orb crack, which you can find free on the internet, does more like a beveled, sharp corner. So once again, depending on like your visual language that you decide, rounder, sharper, that sort of stuff, I'll go with, let's say I'll go with dam standard for this one, just a sharper one. And it's just a matter of like figuring out like a good line flow. Like kind of right now, I'm just basically placing a line here because it's like it exists here and here, those lines. And I'm not placing it in the middle because the middle is too boring. So I'm offsetting it a little bit higher here. Then I'll go do a line here because it's the same thing as those two lines here. And once again, I try to not go in the middle of the two because you see like now it's like equal distance and it's not interesting. I'll try to actually be like further distance than the two edges. So it will be like this here. So now to do it clean, you just like do that, but you activate your lazy mouse radius. And now it's just a question of like dexterity and finding the right, like maybe the right angle for it. There you go. So you see that's clean enough for me. So I'll just like finish the line here. This one here, I can maybe like go up a bit. I could maybe like lose the line, go inside of this here like this. So now you have like a cavity line and stuff. I'll go with orb crack, like simulate that it's actually like a plate by itself in the cavity like this. Sometimes I use shift to I click, and with shift you can actually like do like this kind of stuff. I use that for like my straight line, and for my curves I just like do it by hand. Oops, sorry. Then I curve, continue like this here. I like to place those kind of like alpha on the side of like cavities because it kind of like creates the illusion that like it's made to put like your thumb in to kind of like remove the plate, that sort of stuff. So I'll kind of like try to give like a purpose, a functional purpose to like my choice of alphas. Like sometimes like stuff like adding like those little dots here for like, kind of like if there was like a screw here. Well, that's kind of like the idea. So now I have this one here. So what I want to do, I have my volumes. So now since we're polishing, we're doing volumes, then we're going to do faces, and then we're going to finish with corners, like I said. I'm going to divide just one more step, and it's hard to say why, but I just know that it's going to go better. And what I'll do is I'll H-polish my surfaces so that they're clean. I'll actually want to use maybe the metal mat cap because I really want to be diligent and really like make sure I'm clean. And people that don't use a shiny enough material might actually not notice that like their surface is all warped and bumpy and just not aesthetic, not hard surface, right? You really have to make sure things are like polished to a high degree to really like give the sense that it's a very clean, hard surface material. So I'll use H polish. I'll vary the degree of strength depending on like the size of the surface. But since this is like a big surface, the radius will be pretty big, and I'll just like gently like give strokes in the direction that I want to smooth. If I wanted to have kind of like a curved corner here, like this is a bit too strong, but like curved corner here like this, like so it's like actually divided into two planes. What I could do is with H polish, I could actually kind of like be more like abrupt in these areas. So it's kind of like crushing the surface. So you see like it was like much rounder before. And then like I kind of like crushed it. But by crushing it, I kind of like created like three planes. And if you kind of like reduce the radius and you kind of like destroy each corners like this, you're kind of like creating like this kind of like fall off of like having, it's still like three planes, like 1, 2, 3, but it's really smooth how it actually transitions one from the other. And if you want to get rid of like your final brush strokes, what you can do is just do a quick like relax. So you see, kind of like remove the last brush strokes by doing like a quick relax. And okay, and by the way, believe me, this is going to take you like some practice to actually just like have the dexterity to get this like clean level. But believe me, it's really not it's not sorcery, you know. It's really just a matter of like just making sure you take care of your planes correctly and you're being methodical and using H polish and smooth relax and that sort of stuff, and you'll get there. My baby is trying to get in my room right now. I just see like the handles turning like in Jurassic Park with the raptors. It's pretty fun.
I want to say thank you, by the way. This is awesome, everything you've shown. I'm thoroughly amazed and impressed by pretty much everything you've shown, and I think that probably is the same for everyone who's here. Where can people subscribe to the content that you produce on a regular basis and follow what you're doing?
I think that like a place that actually people can follow me easily is if you go on our like webpage here, first of all, there's like the newsletter for people that are interested to know about our collectibles and that sort of stuff. Also, you can follow us on like pretty much like all the platforms like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. But there's like one link where like people can see like everything that we do. We have a little link tree that's actually like we provide it like often. I just realized that it's not like on our website, so I'll probably need to add this. But like from our link tree, like people can like access like our website, our Instagram, but like any platform like Instagram, it's always like at like Keos Masons. That's it. ArtStation, the Facebook page. We actually lost our Facebook page like a while ago, so we started from scratch.
Weird.
It was so weird, but like now we have Keos Masons official, but like you can actually like follow us from here or more. We have like YouTube. It's the YouTube at Keos Mason, Twitch. We have our Gumroad, that sort of stuff. Actually, that's kind of like a good time to let people know. We actually had a demand to create more collectibles because we were like sold out. So now we're taking pre-orders for anybody that wants to buy a Wasp or a Rockerbot or a Lancer. They're now available for pre-order. So if you go on shop, you can actually have like a few, this one is still available. These ones are like good for purchase. These ones are coming soon, like my 4 Horsemen, the White Widow, those ones. I'm actually working on producing them also. Some are sold out. We have like Gumroad stuff also here. Some merch for people who want merch, but whatever. So yeah, you can always like visit our shop here, and in all our other social medias, it's just a question of like looking for Keos Masons. But on our webpage, we have like a few like YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and I'll actually be I think I'll add like the Linktree icon. It's probably going to be best for people that want to look at our stuff everywhere. So yeah, that's pretty much it for where to follow us.
All right.
Thank you very much, Marco.
Thank you,
It's my
Marco.
pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Really,
Marco.
really good.
Thanks.
You're
Thank you,
amazing.
Marco.
Thanks. Y'all have great voices. I love you all.